This is every cruise packing mistake ranked from worst to best, and most people get at least one wrong. Number 1. White clothing on port days. White looks clean and effortlessly vacation-ready in your cabin mirror at 8 a.m. By noon on a port day, it tells a completely different story. Between the sunscreen you're applying every 2 hours and sunscreen, no matter the brand, eventually transfers, the sweat from tropical heat and humidity, the street food you're eating standing up at a market stall, the tender boat spray, and the general chaos of a busy port, white clothing is working actively against you from the moment you leave the ship. But beyond the aesthetic problem, there's a practical safety issue that most people don't realize. White clothing in intense sunlight offers almost no UV protection. A loose white linen shirt feels breezy, looks appropriate, and seems like the obvious tropical choice, but pale, loosely woven fabrics actually allow significantly more UV radiation through than darker or more tightly woven alternatives. You think you're protected because you're covered. You're not. Save white for evenings on board when you're not navigating excursions, sweating through cobblestone streets, or leaning over a plate of jerk chicken with no napkins in sight. In port, reach for midtones and darker colors that hide the reality of an active day and actually protect your skin while doing it. Number 2. Flip-flops as your primary shoe. Flip-flops belong at the pool. That is their natural habitat, and they perform excellently there. They do not belong on wet gangways, on tender boats, on the uneven cobblestone streets of Mediterranean ports, on shore excursion trails, or anywhere on a cruise ship deck that's been rained on, splashed, or hit with sea spray. Cruise ship decks and tender boat surfaces are notoriously slippery, and flip-flops offer zero grip and zero ankle support. The cruise ship medical centers and crew members who work them will quietly tell you that a significant portion of their guest injury cases involve slip and fall incidents tied directly to inadequate footwear. A twisted ankle on day 2 means you're limping through every excursion for the rest of the trip. A fall on a wet gangway is genuinely dangerous. The solution isn't complicated. Pack a pair of supportive sandals with a secure backstrap, something that physically holds to your foot when the surface becomes unpredictable. Brands that make walking sandals designed for travel give you the open, breathable feel of a flip-flop with actual grip and support underneath. Reserve the flip-flops for the pool deck, beach transfers, and the shower. Everywhere else, your footwear should be able to handle a wet surface without sending you sideways. Number 3. Overly revealing beachwear worn directly off the ship. Bikinis, swim trunks, and cover-ups that are technically cover-ups but practically aren't are entirely appropriate on the pool deck. They cause real problems the moment you step into a port without making a wardrobe adjustment. Many Caribbean, Mediterranean, and Southeast Asian ports include towns, markets, religious sites, and local neighborhoods where modest dress is either legally required or deeply culturally significant. In parts of Greece, Croatia, Malta, and throughout Southeast Asia, entering a church, cathedral, temple, or even a town square in beachwear can result in being refused entry, publicly asked to leave, or in some jurisdictions, fined. This isn't a matter of cultural sensitivity as an abstract concept. It's a matter of whether you can actually access the destination you sailed halfway around the world to see. The fix takes almost no space in your bag. A lightweight sarong or a loose linen shirt that packs flat takes 30 seconds to put on and transforms your beach look into something appropriate for a town visit. You'll walk into places that other tourists are turned away from. You'll be treated with more respect by locals, and you'll see more of every port you visit. One small piece of fabric is a remarkably high-return packing decision. Number 4. Brand new unworn shoes. This is the mistake that doesn't reveal itself until it's too late to do anything about it. New shoes need breaking in. Everyone knows this in theory and ignores it in practice when packing for a trip. A cruise is one of the worst possible environments to discover that a pair of sandals or walking shoes hasn't been properly broken in yet. On a typical cruise day, you're walking significantly more than your daily average at home. Port days involve hours of exploration, often across uneven terrain, in heat and humidity that causes feet to swell and friction to worsen. The combination of a long day, warm weather, new shoes, and swollen feet produces blisters that, once formed, take days to heal. Blisters on day 2 mean you're managing pain through every remaining excursion, every ship staircase, every walk to dinner. The rule is simple. If you haven't worn a pair of shoes for at least 2 solid weeks before your cruise, don't pack them as your primary footwear. Walk around the house in them. Wear them on errands. Wear them on a long weekend walk before you travel. Your feet will thank you somewhere around port 4 when everyone else is limping and you're still moving comfortably. Number 5. Clothes that violate the dress code for formal night. Almost every major cruise line has at least one formal night, and the enforcement varies by cruise line, ship, and even individual maitre d', but on many ships, it is real enforcement. Arriving at the main dining room in shorts, a t-shirt, or athletic wear on formal night often results in being politely but firmly redirected to the buffet. That's a dinner reservation you planned around, on a night the ship makes genuinely special that you can't access because of your clothing. The misconception is that you need to pack elaborate formal wear. You don't. Check your specific cruise line's policy before you sail. Most have moved away from strict black tie requirements toward cocktail attire or smart casual for formal nights. For men, a blazer with dark trousers and a collared shirt covers you on virtually every cruise line currently operating. For women, a dress, a dressy jumpsuit, or elegant separates works across the board. That's one outfit. It folds flat, adds minimal weight to your suitcase, and is the difference between a memorable evening at a proper dinner table and eating under fluorescent lights next to the soft serve machine. Number 6. Heavy denim. Denim is a travel default for millions of people. It's familiar, it pairs with everything, and it carries an unearned reputation for durability that makes it feel like the safe, practical choice. On a cruise, especially in warm or tropical destinations, it is none of those things. Heavy denim traps heat aggressively in warm climates, meaning you're uncomfortable from mid-morning onward on any port day that isn't in a cool weather destination. It absorbs moisture and dries extremely slowly, so if it gets wet from rain, spray, or a particularly enthusiastic excursion, you're wearing damp fabric for the rest of the day. And before any of that, it's heavy. A single pair of jeans takes up substantial luggage space and adds real weight before you've packed anything else. Lightweight chino-style trousers or travel pants in a technical fabric give you the same smart casual versatility with a fraction of the weight, genuine breathability, and the ability to dry overnight if needed. You can dress them up with a collared shirt for a port evening or wear them casually through a day of exploration. They don't fight the climate, they work with it. Number 7. Expensive jewelry and visible designer items in port. This is less a fashion critique than a straightforward safety observation. Busy port markets, crowded transit points, and tourist-heavy town centers in popular cruise destinations are also, consistently, areas where opportunistic theft and targeted scams concentrate. That's not alarmism, it's the operational reality of any location that processes thousands of tourists daily. Wearing expensive watches, multiple pieces of gold jewelry, or carrying high-profile designer bags in these environments is advertising in the wrong direction. It signals wealth, it signals tourist, and it signals someone who likely isn't paying close enough attention to their surroundings because they're focused on the experience. Pickpockets and scam operators in popular cruise ports are experienced professionals. They work these areas every single day. The practical approach: leave real valuables locked in the ship's safe. Bring a simple, inexpensive watch if you need one, or use your phone for the time. Use a crossbody bag that closes with a zipper rather than an open-top tote. Blend in as a traveler rather than broadcasting cruise ship passenger. Your jewelry, your designer pieces, your statement accessories, they have a home on this trip. It's the ship for formal nights and sea days, not the crowded port market where someone is watching to see who isn't watching their belongings. Number 8. High-maintenance fabrics that can't handle humidity. The structured silk blouse that wrinkles if you look at it wrong. The linen blazer that needs pressing after 5 minutes of wear. The dress that requires specific dry cleaning and can't be hand-washed in a sink in a pinch. These garments have a place in your wardrobe. That place is not a cruise ship cabin. Cruise cabins are compact. Storage space is limited. Steamers and irons are either unavailable or heavily restricted on most ships. Many cruise lines prohibit personal irons entirely as a fire risk. And the combination of sea air, high humidity, and a packed suitcase will test every garment you bring in ways a normal closet never would. The fabric choices that actually work: jersey knit, lightweight synthetic travel blends, wrinkle-resistant cotton, and technical performance fabrics that wick moisture and return to shape after being folded for days. These aren't sacrifices in style, they're widely available in elevated, vacation-appropriate designs. The test before you pack anything. Could you pull this out of a suitcase right now and wear it immediately without any intervention? If the answer is no, reconsider whether it's worth the stress. Number 9. Matching group outfits worn into port. Matching cruise group outfits are a genuinely fun tradition, and there's nothing inherently wrong with them as a concept. The problem is specific. Wearing loud, coordinated group looks off the ship and into port creates two distinct problems that experienced group travelers learn to avoid. The first is cultural. In many port destinations, particularly in Europe, Asia, and smaller Caribbean communities, large, visually coordinated tourist groups are perceived as intrusive and are treated accordingly. You'll receive worse service, less authentic interactions, and a fundamentally different version of the port experience than the traveler who arrives looking like a regular visitor. The second problem is security-related and more serious. A large, matching, visually distinctive group is the easiest thing to identify in a crowded port. Vendors, persistent touts, and scam operators who work tourist-heavy areas target identifiable groups because they're easy to track, easy to approach repeatedly, and often distracted by group dynamics. A little variety within your group isn't a betrayal of the matching t-shirt tradition. It's a practical advantage in environments that reward blending in. Save the coordinated looks for the pool deck, the group photo on embarkation day, and the moments on board where they're genuinely fun and create no friction. In port, let your group dress like the individual travelers you each are.